So I wanted to kind of move on to talking about what Kate does, right? So Kate, with your dance school that you have, I've read in a lot of places that, of course, people do dance for just recreational purposes, right? But then there's the other side as well too, that a lot of people actually do get involved in dance, and it has to do with it's almost like therapy for people. Would you say?
Oh yeah, dancing is it's actually interesting to piggyback this off the topic you just came from because dancing is the definition of not working within those dichotomies of like war, attack, um, any kinds of fighting. There's no villainization. So dancing has found a way to not live in our mainstream culture world, right? So we touch all the time. Right? If you talk to teachers, you talk to like anyone else in any industry, they're like, "Oh, we're not allowed to touch anyone anymore." And we're like, "First day, hi, nice to meet you. I'm gonna have my hand on on your shoulder, and we're gonna just move together, and we're gonna have a good time." And so, yeah.
So, Kate, how do people? Obviously, like you said, most people are not very comfortable with the touch. How do you find most people initially react to that in the first class with a lot of the touching going on? Do you?
Everyone loves it.
Yeah?
The only story I have where someone was like, was a police officer because they're trained not to let you close to them, right? They're like, But overall, people really appreciate the fact that somehow the dance world has been able to not be anything but dance and what dance truly is.
So,
Sorry.
do you find that a lot of people, once they do start taking the classes, that they also mimic that as well? They become more comfortable in touching others as well too, or
Well, we're if you want to get really good at a lot of things, Dan. So if you want to be good in relationships, you want to be good at communication, you want to be good at connecting with people. If you want to work with your partner, if you want to create intimacy in your life, if you anything you want to do in your life, if you want to handle conflict better, it's all covered on a dance floor.
so how would you say that dance would help people who are that have self-esteem issues or low confidence, they're insecure? How do you feel if that kind of helps them?
So it's incredible. So if you start day one, we obviously teach you how to move your feet. It's a very important aspect. But as people grow, confidence. So we are focused on what happens positively inside of a human being. So we get, I would say 100% of our students develop more confidence as a result of learning how to dance. Your body alone, just having your body in alignment is such a big deal when it comes to feeling confident. It's like what you wear matters when you feel confident. And so people start to work on the outside what they're trying to get to on the inside. And the development of confidence is a really, really misunderstood and miscreated aspect of the world. And
So do you guys help people like with their posture when they first come in and with their shoulders that are slouching and all that kind of stuff? And
I mean, I would say there's a process to beginners versus like getting into dancing. I mean, as I said, on your first day, we just want you to laugh. Oh my gosh, have fun, play. Like everyone that comes in, we're like, please don't try to memorize anything or feel any pressure, put any pressure on yourself to be something different. It's like, please, the only thing you can do for us is have a good time and relax.
mm-hmm.
That's our like baby, what we would call baby dancers. And then as you develop, that's when you're really starting to get into the life stuff, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you need to say. And dance is a massive way of communicating. But because we're so word oriented, people forget. So we teach all of that, the nonverbal way of communicating with your body. Absolutely. And alignment, as I said, like there's so many health benefits to knowing where your body should sit. Knowing where your head should be compared to your shoulders, knowing where your torso should be compared to your spine. That is insane knowledge.
And that you're talking about just everyday life, not even just
everyday
dance.
life. Oh my gosh, dancing is a mirror for everyday life. So anything, any problems you have, they're going to show up on the dance floor. And anything you want to create for yourself positively, you're going to be able to work through it on a dance floor.
And then obviously I would think that music relates to that a lot as well too, right? When it comes to soothing and so on, and
Absolutely.
getting people to become more comfortable. And
Yeah, because you want your soul reacts and your brain actually reacts to music. So there's a lot of components, and and I don't want to sound like a doctor because I am not one. So I would prefer you brought on a guest that would be able to tell you all about the neurological reactions to what dancing does. But it's over 70% successful at preventing dementia.
wow,
Yeah.
really?
78%. Yeah.
And how is that? Like, how does that correlate? Like, what?
I did make notes in case
Yeah.
you asked me that question,
Yeah.
because it's very technical. So there's 4 aspects of the brain. Okay.
I mean, it's not, you don't have to get to all that. I'm just trying to figure out, like, obviously a lot of people suffer from dementia at a later age, right?
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Like, losing your brain is probably one of the most scariest thoughts. Is like, you no longer can think, you don't recognize your friends and family. You lose your ability to create words for yourself, right? It's terrifying.
Well, yeah, you pretty much forget why you're existing, right? You don't really understand what you're there for, what the purpose is, and you're always questioning what's going on around you at all times. It can be very confusing.
Yep.
Right. And also as well too, it's very embarrassing for people, that early stages of it, when they forget their family's names or their grandchildren's names, that they can get really embarrassed by that. Right?
Oh, the shame. And I think shame is one of the most stickiest, brutal feelings you can have as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It travels through life. Like, you always remember the day you feel shame. You always remember that moment, who was in the room, what the topic was, and how you felt, because shame is so sticky, and it really does work negatively on self-confidence. And yeah, so we work on all of that. And, the fact that dancing, like, our top customers and our top students are doctors, because they all know how good dancing is for you long-term.
I'm surprised why we don't really hear a lot of that. Like, when it comes to, like you're saying, there are doctors, like out of the medical field, you would think that a lot of people would, I guess obviously it's not a medical thing, dance itself, right? But you would think that there'd be a lot more advocates behind it, pushing
It surprised me how quiet.
Yeah, because you would think if doctors are some of your top customers, you'd think that they'd be telling individuals, especially people who are in therapy, that, hey, to lighten up your mood or make yourself feel better about yourself, or to overcome it becoming like a coping mechanism, that you should get involved in dance. Now, when it comes to relationships, obviously we all know that relationships, especially since COVID and after COVID, the numbers you look at are very depressing. I mean, the amount of divorces that have been taking place, the amount of people that prefer to remain single than actually get into a relationship, or how, so many relationships that actually had a potential of growing just kind of fizzle away. Do you feel that dance helps with that? Do you feel that helps them build back that passion and that bond?
Absolutely. Dancing is sexy. It's sexy. My husband and I met through dancing. So I can tell you. No, it is. It's intimacy without having to lead to sex. That is a big deal. When you're intimate with your partner and you're just intimate, like you are, because it's an innocence intimacy. You're on a dance floor, and often in public, although not required. And so there's this intimacy that develops, was very safe. It's a very safe intimacy. And it invites vulnerability in a different way than what, taking off your clothes does.
So let me ask you a question.
I think Melissa wants to take me out on a date.
After.
Later.
Melissa, she's married. Yeah. She just said that. So.
I know.
In regards to couples, have you had, obviously you've been doing this for a while now, if you had a lot of customers that when they initially decide to do it, did they tell you that, hey, like one of them, it doesn't have to be, maybe the husband may have decided he wants to sign him and his wife up because they've got intimacy problems or they're kind of drifting apart. And he didn't tell the wife that that's the reason why, but I would say most people are doing it to work on their relationship.
there's something going wrong and they're like, we need to try something.
The spark is kind of gone in a way.
Yeah, I don't think people are comfortable admitting that at the beginning. I think we hear that story once they've been at the school for a while and they'll start to unveil some of the things that they were dealing with before they came in. But we are called marriage insurance.
And do you find that a lot of these couples, do they, even after they kind of rekindle the relationship, do they still continue taking?
Oh yeah.
They continue. It becomes like a part of their.
Because it's insurance, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't just because you didn't get into a car accident, you don't cancel your insurance. You're investing in your relationship.
And how about when it comes to physical health, maintaining, your physique? Do you find that people, when they first start off and, if they've been taking dance for a while, that they become a lot more, self-conscious of taking care of themselves and what they eat and exercising and looking better? Do you notice that change with people over the years who've been taking the classes?
Yeah, I mean, as an average, we've calculated we lose about 1,000 pounds a year amongst our students. Like we
It's
all
amazing.
yeah. I mean, dancing is very healthy. It's very muscular. One of the cool things. So I had a student come in, and he is a Canadian. He's an athlete, like on Team Canada, bobsledding. Like he's that guy. So he comes in, he's like, I'd like to learn how to dance. And so we started to work on him because he's an athlete. I can talk muscles more with him and talk that kind of detail. And he was like, oh, I'm fatiguing. I was like, what? I'm like, you are one of the top athletes ever. And it's because dancing works support muscles as well as your major targets. So it's incredibly good at the tiny guys that are supporting your body all the time that we don't ever recognize or give attention to.
That I will chime in on because I did Celtic Irish dance for 12 years competitively. I competed at Highland Games down in Fergus, but doing that consistently for 12 years, I have a 12 pack and I still do. And like you said, it's the little muscles. And even though I quit dancing and I haven't danced, I can tell you if I do my routine right now, it's the same muscles exactly where I built my abs that started my dance. Same with my leg muscles, right? Because it's all leg muscles with Irish dance. So that is 100%. And I haven't danced in maybe 20 years, but
Is that like not line dancing?
No, it's Irish dance, Celtic dance. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so I completely agree with that. I still to this day, that's where I feel I got my complete body muscle structure because I was doing it from when I was a kid. Yeah. You're inspiring me to want to go back into it.
So, Kate, which would you say is like your top seller when it comes to the style of dance? Like, is it ballroom dance? Is it, I don't know.
People do both. It's
tango,
social.
Is it,
social is the top desire, right?
So
where you
social
can
would be
go
what?
out, you can go to a wedding. We cover all the music types you're going to see with different dance styles. So like rumba's your romantic, like
and salsa.
whisper sweet nothing's in my ear dance. And then yes, please. And then salsa, of course, is it's quick, more Latin sounding music. You've got cha-cha, which is your top 40s fast songs. And so we teach people how to dance the entire night. You don't want just one dance because then it isolates that. And you also want different movements. Learn how to do this.
And how long are the classes? Are there an hour, 2 hours?
We do 40-minute sessions.
And you said you do more private lessons.
Yeah, that's our most popular because people are busy. We teach professionals, right? They have 3 kids. They're running around. They're doing their thing. They're going to work. They're time is hard, right? And so people want to schedule when they're free. And we do. Yeah, we have our most popular is private.
And you do have group classes as well.
Yeah.
And how many couples would you usually have in a group class?
On average right now, about 8 to 10.
20 people. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But you don't have to be coupled. Like that's another thing that people think you do. And
so you have singles as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you pair them
Anyone
up.
can come in and we teach them, right? We're one-on-one. And so half our school, I would say, are singles.
But what happens if you have like a mishmash of numbers of females and males? Like
as teachers, we can do
you kind of jump in.
Usually,
Yeah. I've got 2 hands. I can dance. Yeah. No, but often, we just mix around and everyone dances with everybody. It's a very friendly culture. Yeah. And it involves everybody. Like there's no personality that doesn't fit in. There's no type. There's no title. If you're a good dancer, you're popular. Does not matter what anything to do with race, your structure, your age. Like, I don't care. You'll see someone who's 100 dancing with someone who's 20. It's about dancing. And that's a really, really precious thing about the dance world.
And the name of the studio is Fred Astaire, right?
Yes.
And so, do you know a lot about this individual?
Fred?
Yes.
Oh, Fred's the best.
So tell us about Fred. Because of course people know he's into dance, right? I mean, that's how people know the name.
He's considered the greatest dancer still of all time for TV and movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from New York, right? He traveled around the world. He was an absolute professional.
He was in Broadway, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah. TV.
Yeah.
Well, eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
He trained Michael Jackson. Like, they worked together at one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so Fred is still, they can watch his movies. He's unbelievable.
Oh, I've seen his movies are incredible.
He is the most accurate dancer. And he shows a lot about hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Dancers work hard. I don't know if you felt that about every dancer. It's about, it builds the right people skills and the right dedication at the right time to create amazing people. And Fred was the top person for that. And he was never happy until it was the exact cut, the exact take that he wanted.
I mean, and physically, he was very strong. Like, I mean, the type of stuff that he was able to do was incredible.
I'd let him lift me.
So, like, when it comes to, we were talking about like coping mechanisms as well, too, right? So, when it comes to dance, are there like breathing techniques you teach people and how to stay focused? And is there some of that you guys kind of get into with people?
Yeah, I mean, it's very catered to what somebody needs. We're very aware of what do you particularly need to grow mentally, physically, and emotionally. And so we do that work. So whether it's, I don't know if we would stop and do breathing like maybe you'd see in yoga, but we breathe in order to push our bodies to do something. And the nice part is everyone loves dancing. And so it gets you past your own excuses, your own reasons to not do something, and including things like breathing properly, which is amazing that we have to be so cognizant of actually intaking and exhaling oxygen, right?
So, like, you teach people to inhale through their nose and exhale through their mouth type of thing? Or does that matter?
Just kind of remind them to breathe.
It's just breathe.
Don't
Just
forget.
Yeah, it can be so simple. It's like, hey, you should breathe.
Yeah.
When you concentrate, sometimes you just stop. It's like, you should breathe while you're doing it.
Yeah.
That happens to me when I eat. I just keep going and then I chug my drink and I'm like, my husband's like, you can breathe. It's not going to run from you. And then I scarf some more.
Yeah.
Breathe.
She needs a breathing coat while she.
I do.
Well, you can do it.
I do.
So, Melissa, have you taken classes with
I used
Kate?
to teach.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. For how long?
Oh God.
Get closer to the mic.
Maybe 5-6 years, something like that. Because I started in Kitchener, did that for a bit. Then I moved to Oakville.
What type of dance? What was your specialty?
Same thing. I kept getting entered into all the Latin.
Okay.
But I really love tango. Yeah, it's my favorite.
Tango's my favorite too. I love
Right?
Tango, yeah.
Oh my God. So did you know, fun fact, tango is a sign of a well-educated dancer. Yes.
The dancers dance.
Explain that.
Yeah. It's a very staccato styled type of dance. It has a lot that you need to learn when it comes to angles and footworks and postures and sharpness. And it's we call it the well-educated dance because of those reasons, right?
It's also every emotion.
Every emotion.
So is it tango very seductive dancing or the
it can be
dance
seductive.
of love?
It can be angry.
It can be, yeah.
It's the chase.
Yeah.
Madness. Yeah.
Like a lion sneaking on a mouse.
Yeah.
Maybe a gazelle. I don't know about a mouse, but okay.
No, definitely a mouse because the follow is always a sneaky one.
Mm-hmm.
But
and so do you have people that when they do sign up that they have specific preferences, like they want to learn salsa or they ask that they want to learn ballroom?
Times, but most people want to be able to use it. So it's let's teach you a variety so you can go out and use.
Go to the club or go to a wedding.
Go to a wedding,
whatever.
go to a gala, go across the world, go travel and do some tango while you're there, right?
And people don't realize how much they like certain dances until they actually try it. Like people would hear the word foxtrot and like, well, what would I use a foxtrot for? And then once we actually show them, they're like, wow, I can move across the floor. Like, and it's to this kind of music, like anything kind of like big band sounding, like, or even like Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé, stuff like that. You go to a wedding, they'll play something like that, or like a gala or anything. I mean, some people want to go to a gala and they don't even go because they're afraid they don't know how to
dance.
Yeah. So
Do you find that you have more women that sign up than men?
I would say
Yeah.
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
they're the initiators.
Men need to wisen up that women love dancing.
it's kind of depressing actually, because when I used to work with them, I guess, I don't know what you consider. In the new year, I'll be with her, but
Come to the dark.
that's right. I'm getting back into it and I'll be with Kate. But anyways, when I used to work with the other studios, I used to have to put my hat on and pretend to be the lead for a lot of the ladies that come in, because there's not enough men that would actually come in.
So a lot of single women.
Yeah.
So here's a sign to guys out there who are looking to meet. I mean, it's a great place.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah,
they have fun
we've
as
had
well.
people meet at our studio and
like
date
match
and
up,
get
like,
married. And
really?
Oh yeah.
So, and you watch it happen and it's so touching. Like,
And what would you say is like the main age range that you kind of attract is? I mean, we're not talking about they're all like the whole spectrum of 19 to 80 plus, right? What age category do you think you always have a majority of? Always the kind
all
of
over the place.
Yeah, like if you think of weddings, that's often
Yeah.
like 20 to 30. If
Yeah.
you're thinking a hobby or again to like recreate and reconnect a relationship, you're looking at 30 to 50. Like it's just different reasons, but each age group has a reason to try dancing and to come and do it.
And you guys mix all the, like, it's not as if you have like, classes just for like 19 to 25. No, you kind of mix them all in together.
Oh no, everybody's with everybody.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, dancing created the first mixed race experience because they started to have to make smaller and smaller bars because things were getting expensive and they needed to get cheaper. And so then you started to just sneakily see the like, let's say black people, like in air quotes,
it was
is
actually
happening.
it was taboo for that to happen, right? People frowned upon that during that time.
Yeah, except with dancing, who cares? Because you want to dance. If you have to dance with someone that looks different than you or is a different age, who cares? It's dancing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
the whole
dance
story
trumps
behind
it.
Elvis Presley. I mean, his dance moves that he learned. He used to go to like all black bars, to the jazz bars and the blues bars, and that's where he picked all that stuff up.
Yeah.
That's why everybody was so shocked, right? So, no, I think that's very cool how they're able to kind of forget about skin color, or what part of the town you're from.
One thing I really love about our studio is that when you have studio events or we go to like competition or anything like that, is that there's a rule, and the rule is you can never say no to a dance. So anyone could walk up to you and they'll, can I have this dance?
So let me kind of just, play the devil's advocate here. So if I'm a male and I'm a single male and another male comes up to me, I can't say no to that? I gotcha.
It does happen. I mean, dancing is leaving gender. So we should be using more non-gendered language because the dance world is lead and follow now.
So do you have like transgender students?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So actually there's like there's competitions for like gays as well, like guys who dance with guys. There's also like, to answer your question there with the whole like guy walking up to a guy and asking him to dance, like I actually have it on video. I think at the last competition that I was at with you guys, was it one of the international coaches, he was judging, and an older man walked up to him and asked if he could dance with him, and they were dancing and they were having a good time. There was no weirdness, no nothing. It was just he wanted to dance, and
That's cool.
it's kind of cool. Yeah.
So going back to coping mechanisms, right? So I feel that the information you're giving us, I don't think a lot of people would even think that, dance can be like a form of therapy. They would just think it's about getting back into shape or just a fun hobby to do. But I think that especially when it comes to possibly individuals that are lonely, they're alone, I think it's a great way to build a social circle. People who might be going through some kind of a depression or a dark moment in their life, this would be a great way to kind of, brighten their week up if they came, took a class a couple of times a week.
Yeah, we had a lady come in today, and it was her very first lesson. And she's like, I'm so.
Oh,
And I was like, you're in the right place. Come in. Like, we will love you and we will show you what it's like to be truly accepted and welcomed into our community.